Hey folks, man, this is Monk, and we are back with another episode of Classes of Cinematics. And we're joined as always with my co-host. We got Bobby Blockbuster.
Yo, yo, yo.
Yeah, and this is the show where we talk about films that shaped and warped our childhood film going experiences. And today is no exception. We're going to be looking at Demon Knight, and this film is from 1995. It's directed by Ernest Dickerson. Starring Billy Zane, William Sadler, Jada Pinkett, Brenda Blank, CCH Pounder, Thomas Hayden Church, and a few others. But the story goes as this: ex-soldier Frank Brayker is the guardian of an ancient key that can unlock tremendous evil. The sinister but charming collector Billy Zane is a demon who wants the key so he can initiate the apocalypse. On the run from wicked mercenaries for almost 90 years, Brayker finally stops in at a boarding house in New Mexico where, with the help of its quirky residents, he plans to face off against the collector and his band of ghouls, preventing them from ever seizing the key. And if folks don't know, this was actually the first of a film series that got started by the Tales from the Crypt TV show. So this was basically a Tales from the Crypt movie.
Yeah.
And essentially it kind of has the same intro to a Tales from the Crypt episode. It's a little different than what the HBO show did, but the Crypt Keeper does introduce our story, and it goes on from there.
It works. It works because they present it as one of the shows. I mean, at this point in time when this movie dropped, the show was hitting home runs season after season. So the way, for them to present it that way, I think that was very, very cool marketing, and it also gives the fan base, what we're looking for.
It's interesting because I think Tales from the Crypt had been out for a while by the time this hit. So this kind of might have been on the tail end of Tales from the Crypt's run, but the popularity was peak because I think it premiered. I think I was in, I'm not sure when the series started, but I definitely remember being a younger kid.
It was early 90s.
And also being a little bit freaked out by some of these episodes where you're watching like like, do I peek? Do I look? Or ready to cover my eyes, But that was the fun of it. Definitely loved the Crypt Keeper. As gnarly as he looked, he definitely brought you in, with some warmness in the beginning.
Yeah. And dude, not for nothing. I mean, we were all about that Tales from the Crypt in my household. Like we never knew when cable was going to be on or be off, but we always luckily had it when Tales from the Crypt seasons were premiering, and we would record it Friday night. That's what we did. We'd sit down, we'd record the episode. So I mean, this is well before box sets or any of that stuff was involved. We had all the seasons on VHS. Thanks, Mama Blockbuster, for doing that for us.
Yeah, that was dope, man. But what do you think about this movie, man? I think that this thing is way better than it had to be, man. So there's a lot of things to.
Oh yeah, we're gonna dissect this one. First things first, I like to play on words with the title. It's called Demon Knight, but Knight is spelled as like Knights of the Round Table. Because when you look at it, even though in essence it's kind of like a night full of demons, the Demon Knight is actually the one who's slaying the collector, the protector of the key, which I thought that was really cool.
I like how you said that, the protectors, because I mean, and it also becomes kind of a round table in a way because of the people that have in the hotel. So I guess maybe the cast, man. Let's talk about the things. Like the cast really knocks it out the park.
I was going to say the cast is lit from A to Z. It is all the way. It is all the way on point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and we've got Billy Zane, who's playing the collector, who's after our hero, played by William Sadler Brayker. And both of these are great, man. I love what Brayker brings to the table. He just looks like this guy who's just been on the run. He's haggard, he's tired, but yet he's determined. You know what I'm saying?
He's a warrior, dude.
Yeah, and it's great how this thing opens up with him just on the highway on a lonely night. Then suddenly he just spins the car around, and you see that he's being followed.
And they got that music playing, dude. The music like really sets the tone.
Rolling. Yeah, you realize the collector's behind him, and then it goes from there. So he runs into the hotel, and what really stands out to me is the hotel occupants, man.
Yes.
Including Irene, played by CCH Pounder. She's the one that's she owns the hotel. She's the boss, and it's dope. And you realize there's a little world inside of there. There's people who permanently live there. According to her, she doesn't like to rent short term. This is more of a boarding kind of house, for people who are, I guess, in transitions in their lives, whether they're between jobs or maybe they're moving to the area and they're trying to get their feet settled.
Stuck. I mean, this is a pocket little area. There is a lot of desert, a lot of sand, a lot of open highway. I mean, even her hotel, it looks like there's nothing around.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So, but yeah, like you said, to your point, man, the cast, it's like the starting five on the dream team. Honestly, I mean, when you talk about Zane, Sadler, you get Jada Pinkett, CC Ponder was dope, and I mean, as much of a scumbag as he was, I loved Thomas Hayden Church in this. He played the character Roach, and like he was as messed up as he was the voice of reason.
Yeah.
You know, he was the one like, well, man, I'm here, and all this is happening because you're here. He would not like stray away from the fact that he wanted to place blame on Sadler's character.
And you know what's funny? I always get him confused, but he's like the poor man's Lance Erickson.
Yeah,
like Lance Henriksen, and you know,
I knew who you was talking about. Yeah,
it's funny they play like similar roles all the time, and it's crazy because he doesn't look so much like him in this one because he's way younger, you know, in this film. But yeah, like they're all cool, especially also like Dick Miller's Uncle Willie.
Oh
he's
yeah,
also there.
Yeah, he was solid.
And it's funny because we don't get a lot of time with them as far as explaining their backgrounds or whatever. But I feel like the actors when they're such well-written characters that you kind of get to know them over the course of this movie, you know, just from the way they're interacting with each other and the scenes that they're in, man. Yeah, and it's crazy.
Whenever one of them does have their time to shine, I mean, the spotlight is on them. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's a minimal role or maximum role, you know, everyone is giving 125%, you know, and I think that is super solid. And then it's a testament to the director, you know, for being able to pull out this energy from his cast. And then, you know, the story, the build up, I mean, it all like this film covers all of its bases before it hits the grand slam.
And we get Jada Pinkett Smith. This is one of her earlier roles too. I think this was probably around maybe after Menace. Menace to Society set it off, you know, that era. But another thing, the director, Ernest Dickerson, man, if you don't know, he's such a great director, man, with just a great pedigree in films, man. He's one of the best cinematographers in the business. First of all, he got it. That's where he cut his chops, you know, doing that kind of work for Spike Lee. There was even a story that when they were about to film Malcolm X, they delayed the production of that for like either a few weeks or a few months just so they could get Ernest Dickerson. He's like, I'm not going to shoot that without him, but he's directed some great films, man, including Juice, Surviving the Game.
I love that.
Bones.
That's a great one.
You know, Demon Knight. The dude's pedigree is crazy. Just for the film stuff, let me see. We got they show me TV,
and it's cool because he has a niche for like horror/thriller films. All of those films that you rung off, even Juice, even though it's kind of bracketed in a certain genre, it hits like a thriller film.
Yeah, he also did Never Die Alone as well, which is a great film. If you haven't seen that, man, we might have to bring that one up. You know, if we get to it. Bulletproof. I think I already said that.
Yep.
Yeah, but just great. Cinematographer wise, we're talking about hits after hits. Malcolm X, man, did Jungle Fever, Mo Better Blues, Death by Temptation, Do the Right Thing, School Days, like Eddie Murphy's Raw. He directed. Wow, She's Gotta Have It, Crush Groove. Like, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, pretty much, and every one of Spike Lee's most notable films, he had his hand in on. That's awesome.
And countless TV stuff, man. Yeah. He's been working on stuff as recently as Walking Dead, you know, Vampire Diaries, you know, Treme, Dexter. You know, he's doing episode like this guy is like he's dope. House of Cards, man. The Purge.
Talk about someone who is an asset to their craft. I mean, it just shows in his amazing catalog that we got going on right in front of us. I mean, it's like I said, and this film is a testament to that because this is one of the most overlooked like horror films, you know, from the 90s. Like you don't hear people bring it up too much. You know, when you talk Tales from the Crypt, you talk the show. Not a lot of people talk this movie, which I think that's why we're doing this, because this movie needs to get, you know, talked about and get the spotlight put on it for a brief, because I mean, not just the cast, not just the direction, but the writing, the story is so original.
So let's get to that. I think the story stands out here too, man, because the story it's essentially a siege film. That's what it becomes, because basically what our character has to do is survive the night. You know, if he doesn't survive the night, then the demons take over and they destroy
all is lost for the world.
Everything's done, But what I found interesting is the play with history. I love when movies mess around with history and mess around with those elements, because essentially, he has this container full of blood, and what's wild about it is, he could use it to fight these demons and create barriers to keep them from coming into, the place that he's holed up in. But as we watch this thing play out, there's flashbacks to like a dude on a cross, and you're like, that's Jesus.
Yeah.
And then you got not only that, you got the burglars around him, and then there's this Grim Reaper figure, and I guess that Reaper was coming to collect Jesus's soul, but at the last minute, a guy steps forth and he's collected this vial of Jesus's blood as it drips from his wounds, which is the key that Brayker ends up having.
Here's the thing, though. What it is that there are 7 keys. Mm-hmm. That's why, like in his palm, there's 7 stars. Everything has to align. So there's 7 keys, and the demons have 6 of the keys. And the last key was on Earth. And then so that dude, I guess he was like the peasant guy who was collecting, Jesus's blood. Mm-hmm. That demon figure was coming there to collect the key for the 7th key to ultimately take over the world as we know it.
Okay, so but what ends up happening, that blood helps him fight off that Reaper, and I guess that guy goes on a run, because here's a crazy thing, man. Brayker, he's been on a run for like 90 years, and because I think he has the blood and stuff, it hasn't aged him. But we get another flashback where Brayker's in the war at the early turn of the century, maybe World War One.
I think he said something about 1916. He said that's when he got the key.
Oh, okay. So, that could be World War One, though. I believe.
Yeah.
So, but it's crazy because we like same thing happens, He gives them the key, but this key contains that previous guy's blood, the previous holder's blood. So. Basically Brayker's on the run. Like if they ever catch up to him, it's over. So, and we get to the point in this film where this is his last stand, and it just happens to be in this town. And I just think it's cool that we get this sense that this has been going on since Jesus died. That someone has been tasked with holding this key and protecting it, and just passing it on,
like the ultimate savior of the world.
Because who knows how old the guy was that Brayker got it from?
Exactly.
That could have been 100 years. He could have been 300 years old.
But the coolest thing about how once they give us the lore of this key and how it needs to be passed along, I thought it was so dope is that when you do find the right person to pass the key along, not only do you inherit all of the power that comes with it, but you inherit all of the pain as well. All of the pain from the previous people that protected it. And I think that was just such a cool element to the story, because it really just helps intensify everything and gives this
and also
such meaning.
Also lets you know that this is serious business, dude.
Very serious.
If you don't take this serious, like it could be in there for all of us. And Brayker is clearly taking it serious.
And at times it's hard to take it serious because Billy Zane, his character as the collector, dude. Well, I love his character because he's so like he's so like arrogant, like charismatic but sinister, all wrapped in one. Like he's telling jokes. There's barely a time when he's on camera where he's not smiling. Like he feels like he always has the upper hand throughout this whole story.
Fun evil. He's a fun antagonist. That's chasing our character. Because like you said, man, he could just easily be like, "Yo, give me the damn thing," but he
just be a grumpy bully.
Makes it fun. He's putting on a show, and honestly, he probably had the meatiest role in here. Like if you wanted to be cast in this film, that's probably the one you're going for because it lets you cut up so bad. There's moments where he's going sinister and tough, but then once the cat's out the bag, and because he's just acting like a bounty hunter.
Yeah. Oh, once he gets fed up, it's great.
But once the cat's out the bag and he turns off the
once the cops
appearances,
they're like, you're coming with us too.
Just himself. It's so great because he's just like, damn it, I'm tired of this. And then it just goes.
He tells the cop, the cop was like, man, you're coming with us. We're going to find out who you are. And he tells him, he's like, well, like my man said, if you know who I was, he was like, well, we're going to find out. He's like, and why wait? And he turns around and punches right through his head.
He's like, I ain't got time for this.
And then he goes out there and he's like, man, F this cowboy stuff, man. Then throwing all, he go whole round. Man, you can tell he's having straight fun.
He's just whole film. In a glass. But it goes from there, man. As we get to our conclusion, man. But there are so many great moments. Like I said, the characters, like for one, the group of people that we're stuck with, they're all riffing on each other.
Yes.
You know, you could tell, you know, they kind of mess with each other, but they're kind of annoyed by each other. I guess they've been around each other so much, but there's jokes are flying left or right. And those are just great. It fills the time. Like this film is barely 90 minutes, dude,
Yeah.
but it feels like you're getting like 2 chock full hours of entertainment.
And it's
something about the pacing of this is just crazy.
It plays like a Tales from the Crypt episode, man. It really does. Regardless to, like you said, if it's 90 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours, I mean, it's fast paced, it's funny, it gives us all that stuff. And to your point with the characters, the way that their banter, I'm telling you, man, my man Roach, there's this one part once they figure out like that the demons are coming and you know all the, you know, it's completely seized from at this point. He looks at Brayker, he's like, man, that's sweet. He was like, who's going to protect us? You? They're here for you? Like, give you? Like, I mean, it seems like he's saying it with his heart, dog. I love that stuff.
I love it because also there's a point where they pretty much effectively barricaded. They're safe. So then what's the name? Was Zane's character?
The Collector. Yeah, doesn't even have a name.
Yeah,
he's so cool. He don't even need a name.
So then
dog.
The Collectors starts messing with their heads, and we get some fun moments. Basically, trying to use mental suggestion to get them to open a door or let them in, or
feed them temptation.
Yeah, or turn on Brayker, and it's just funny, man, because everyone has their own vices. I love my man Uncle Willie.
I'm glad you said that. I got that in my notes, man. His fantasy, like he's just all
he's just all the ladies. He's in the Playboy Mansion, just living it up, pretty much. It's
topless chicks and drinks, man. That's all he wanted in life. I was like, damn, all right, it's simple man.
Simple man, man. But it's fun, man. It's like, you know what vibe I'm getting off of this too. I feel like they definitely got some cues from this for what was the Robert Rodriguez movie with Tarantino? Dusk Till Dawn. Definitely got, I feel like they definitely, modeled some of that after this film, man. It just has that same feel. I feel like this film could definitely take place in that world and vice versa,
Oh, most definitely. And then, before I forget, the special effects on this was also amazing to me. You know what I'm saying? Simple, but effective. Like when, like I said, it's all a testament to the story. Like when Billy Zane first goes out there, he cuts his hand, starts sprinkling the blood, and then the demons kind of come out from under the ground. And, you watch this transition. They kind of look like weird little aliens at first, but then ultimately they look like, bigger, stronger versions of the Crypt Keeper. When you really kind of take a scale back, like, oh man, that's kind of cool. But then to your point, when he does start, mind effing with everybody and they turn into demons their own selves, the look of them was really cool. Like the chick Cordelia, the first one that he got in her head, when she turns, very cool, man. Like, and then I like they put this element of the glowing green eyes and the glowing green mouth. I think it was all very effective and it worked very well. And this is all still practical effects. This is not CG time. I mean, even when what's her name, Irene, when she's toting the shotgun, she's trying to save Brayker. She gets her arm ripped clean off, and it does not look fake. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude, you're right, dude. Like, and those practical effects, they stand out, man. Because even the scene where he summons the demons, he cuts his hand and it's like, and then they just start bubbling up and like coming to life. It's just really cool transformation sequences and everything looks gooey and just nasty.
This is the one on the head, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, they had a lot of fun making this, man.
It's really cool because like even though they're giving us all of this horror and all of these things going on, they never lose sight of the fact that Tales from the Crypt always had lighthearted.
There's a lot of humor. There's a lot of humor in it.
Like I said, when Irene, she has her arm ripped clean off, and then when Billy Zane tries to coerce her into turning on Brayker, my man comes in with a tray with her arm on a platter, and he's like, his arm back, and then she just raises her little nub, and she was like, yeah, that's me saying F you. Like, how did, dude, it doesn't matter what kind of sense of humor you got, man, that is funny, dog.
It's a funny movie, because like, that was one of the aspects of it when I finally saw it. I mean, of course, I was 95, I'm in 11th grader, but so it wasn't so much you scare me, but the humor made it so immediately digestible. Like I can't really picture, unless you're a really young kid, anyone being scared while they're watching this. You know what I'm saying? Because it's that tongue in cheek. It's the funness that tells, from the Crypt was bringing to the table.
Yes.
And it's in this movie. It translates so well.
And it's
definitely.
It's a different, like you said, it's even though it's still like dark comedy humor, it's still more lighthearted. This is not Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger humor.
No,
you know
no,
what I'm saying?
it's
This is like you said, this is more geared for, it like family fun, even with with a little bit of scary, elements to it, because they knew this all originated from a Friday night HBO show that, people were watching as a family element. You know what I'm saying? Some people were flying solo, but like I said, in my household, we grouped up. We ordered some pizza. We all chilled and watched our Tales from the Crypt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, man. And like the crazy thing about it, rewatching it, it's one of these ones that just gets stronger after repeated viewing. Man, you just notice so much more stuff and just how tight and well put together this is, man. Like there's no wasted scenes. There's no wasted anything in this thing.
It is baffling to me that this one does not get more notoriety and recognition. I can't understand it. And to this point, we can't do the show without me just bringing up this brief little sidestep. This is probably Billy Zane's, best film that I've seen him in. And he doesn't break character, dog. He's like this in real life. It's amazing. We have met him. I think I instantly ruffled his feathers. Out the gate. Because I just kept calling him Billy Zane. I guess he doesn't like being called his whole name. Billy Zane. You sign is from Billy Zane. What is favorite movie? Billy Zane. The worst movie, Billy Zane. Take this picture, Billy Zane. And he was
Mr. Billy Zane.
And, one thing about me, man, I live life to laugh, man. And if you let me know that I'm ruffling your feathers out the gate for doing nothing, I'm gonna keep poking. Keep poking. I don't care if you're famous or not, man. And I love what you do on screen, but hey, this is real life right now, Billy Zane.
Yeah, he was annoying, man. But
he was.
No, he was weird, man. He was weird. He was
giving everyone pounds before the COVID. He was isolated. He had like the smooth jazz playing. I
appreciate the pound because that's like you want to avoid the con crud. That's what they call it.
I guess.
That's because a lot of people say you go to some of these conventions, you come home sick.
Somebody wants.
So the pound is
snot rocket in the hand. I get it.
The pound is the new handshake.
Hey man, it just shows he was ahead of his time with that because
man.
But that was fun. But yeah, man, Billy Zane, man, this was a home run for you, my man.
Yeah. I can't think of anything where he was better in. Man, I did love him. He's great as flavorful bad guys, man. Like the bad guy in also in Posse, he was great as that. Dude.
There's this other one too from the 90s. I can't think of the name. But he kind of played this stalker dude, and he was young. I mean, he had the head full of hair and everything.
Oh shit!
And not for nothing, I didn't know this at first, but he was in Back to the Future. He was one of Biff's like homeboys, like the little flunkies from Back to the Future Part 2.
That's dope, dude.
Yeah, man. But yeah, man, outside of that, man, like I said, I mean, I don't really have no gripes or grievances when it comes to this film. We do have two other Tales from the Crypt films that came out, Bordello of Blood, and then one that I can't even remember the name of. Yeah, both those ones fell so short.
Yeah, Bordello of Blood, it had what was that? Cory Feldman was in that.
Yeah,
I don't remember the other ones.
It was Dennis Leary.
I remember he was in it. Yeah.
And then also
they did another movie or not?
No, they did. It came out probably about.
I remember Bordello of Blood. The Bordello of Blood seemed to be like Uncle Willie's dream.
Yeah,
and I was like,
it wasn't.
It wasn't as
it didn't hit.
As this,
it didn't hit. And the other one, it took place in like I want to say it was surrounded around like voodoo stuff. It's like in deep areas.
They were like vampires, right?
No, Bordello of Blood. That one, that was a vampire one. The other one was more like a witch situation, voodoo-esque style film. From it was like it took place in New Orleans or something. I got it on DVD, but I watched about 20 minutes of it and tapped out. Yeah. It was terrible. It was terrible.
There were other movies that from years back, and I guess that came after that. Kind of had a link to the Tales from the Crypt, but they weren't, I don't think, official like these were, you know?
Yeah.
You know, like that, or at least how Demon Knight was, you know?
I mean, Demon Knight set the tone, and I mean, it's just one of those films where, you know, this is one of those series that show you, you know, when the first film is so good, those that follow after it, they just can't hit the bar. You know what I mean?
It's kind of crazy because Bordello of Blood director, this guy, Gilbert Adler, he did some films that I actually liked. So, you know, it's crazy that they got him on Demon Knight. He's a producer on a lot of stuff. That's what it was. So he produced House on Haunted Hill, 13 Ghost Ship.
Ghost Ship was
Starsky and
dope,
Hutch,
man.
Superman Returns. So he only directed Bordello Blood, and that maybe explains why.
That says it all right there. I mean, because I mean, when you look at the two, I mean, when you look at Bordello of Blood compared to Demon Knight, I mean, it's apples and oranges, dog. There's no, I mean, outside of the fact that they're both brought to us by Tales from the Crypt franchise, and introduced with the Crypt Keeper and everything, there's no similarities.
Yeah, because I would say Demon Knight feels more like just a siege film that was way better than it had any right to be.
Yes.
Bordello Blood feels like just Porky's with some vampire stuff thrown in,
right?
Like, you know, in a bad, like, I mean,
bad casting. Like the casting was not
honestly,
good.
all the Porky's was bad, but like it felt like it was like a Porky's 3 or 4, where it was just like we don't even care. We just cover mass amounts of flesh. And, you know, nudity.
Pretty much.
We'll think about the story later. And that's your movie, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, you know, one thing I will say about Demon Knight as well is I like the ending. When, you know, once, you know, we do get the transition from, you know, Jada going from, you know, pretty much just someone trying to save her life and just part of, you know, engulfed in everything that's going on, to being our new protagonist. You know,
I love how that was done, because
it was beautifully done.
I didn't see it coming when I first saw the film, because she's in the background, like she feels like another one of these other patrons of the hotel,
and she's treated like an underling. I mean, you know, I mean, right out the gate, Irene is like kind of just bagging on her.
She kind of is. She's been lazy. She lying.
I mean, she was,
like,
but
scrubbing this oven. Why your gloves clean?
White gloves, exactly. Yeah. But I mean, and she was treated like.
But we didn't see that coming though. That she was going to, like, I just thought it was going to end. Period with Brayker's character. Yeah. But then, you know, she passes the torch and she ends up saving the day. And at the end, that's great that she walks off, you know, hops on a bus into the sunset, and you know, and we got a person that's pursuing them. Yeah,
I mean, dude, the collectors waste no time. As soon as the key gets passed along, they know, okay, the old collector must be gone, so we send another one. And it's also cool because it really brings the lore of the story full circle. Like you see it, you know, like I said, with the 7 stars tattooed in the hand, they're like jumbled up, but once that tattoo aligns full circle, you know that this is in the prophecy. This is what's going to happen. The collector's going to get you to a point. If there's 7 people in there, you know, this is what's going to take place. We're going to have to fight back, buck back, woo, 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 woo. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to die, and you're going to have to find one of the most righteous of the 7 people to pass the key along to, and the whole cycle, you know, starts over again, you know. And I thought that was really dope.
It messes me up because I want a sequel. After watching this now, and I'm like, it would be so cool if we could get Jada Pinkett Smith to come back and reprise his role, older, more wise than the survivor, and just throw her in another scenario. And I think it would be great, but I don't know, you know, how she feels personally as a, you know, doing, you know, this kind of, you know, with this genre and all. But I think that would be so dope, and it would be a hit. It would pay a lot of homage. The fans would come back, I think, to see it again. Like,
yes, I would. I'm front and center, dog.
Ernest to come back.
What? Front and center, man. And then you could even get, like, you know, like just you know, a couple like special, you know, appearances or whatever. You know, get a couple folks from the original.
Because this is one of those type of films where, like, in hindsight, a lot of these actors they got were real good gets, man. Like, a lot of these people went on to do great stuff.
Yes.
But imagine the kind of cameos you could get for a film like this now. Like, we'll probably get some really big names just to sign on, just to be a part of it, and play some, you know, character that gets whacked up. We always see my man, what's that guy's name, man? I can't. It's offhand. It's escaping me. The singer from God, even Black Flag. That guy, Rollins. Henry
Oh,
Rollins.
okay.
He always does it. He'll pop up in
Yeah.
something like this and play like a minor role, get killed real quick, and and keep it moving. Like so it'll be cool, man. There's a lot of potential for fun to be had with this.
And then, I mean, I don't know like what's going on as far as like copyrights and all this stuff, but this would just shine some light back on the '90s as a whole with the Tales from the Crypt franchise, the movie, give actors and actresses opportunities to reestablish themselves in their roles in this franchise, and just, I mean, I don't see it failing, even if they just wanted to make it for stream, make a Hulu presentation or Netflix or something. I mean, it should be done. I firmly believe it should be done, and it would rock and roll too.
Yeah, because even I don't think Tales from the Crypt is even on HBO anymore. Like,
no, it's man, you can find that thing in a treasure box now.
yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, so that might be an issue with the rights, but I don't know, man. All in all, definitely, this is a classic, man. This is a monstrous hit, when it came through. So I would definitely, if you haven't seen it, check it out, man. You can't go wrong with this film. It's fun. It's I think this is peak horror movie, though, man. Like if you're gonna put a list of top like 50 horror movies, you know what I'm saying, from like the 80s and 90s and the 70s, this has got to be on that list, dude.
It's
that good. It's that well made.
And if it's not on your list, then you writing with the wrong pen, Jack.
Hey, I think that's it, man. Bob couldn't say no better than Bob just did, man. So, but yeah, that's it, folks, man. Subscribe to the channel, man. Make sure you keep posted, man. Stay tuned because we're gonna be back with more. Yeah, this is Monk. You catch me at Monkey Blood on Twitter and Instagram, and check us out on Instagram, man. We're at Classics of Cinematics on Instagram, and that's what we be doing.
That's it. It's Bobby Blockbuster. You can catch me on Instagram at Bobby Blockbuster 118, or out there in the real world.
All right, folks, man. We out. Peace.